This is Empty the Bench with Tom Albano.
Because Travis Kelce has been both the tight end and wide receiver one there. Patrick Mahomes has revitalized the career of Juju Smith-Schuster. Actually, you could throw Eric Bieniemy in there because he's the one coming up with the game plans and such. Somebody like Eric Bieniemy should be considered for a head coach.
Nick Morgasen.
LeBron James, who said, I refuse to participate in the dunk competition, because essentially, he didn't say this, but this is what he should have said. I don't want to get hurt, and I don't want to affect all the millions of billions I do in my life. So, because he doesn't compete, no other stars compete. This didn't happen back in the 90s.
Empty the Bench starts now.
The Lakers are not finishing sixth. I'll tell you that right now. If they finish sixth, I'd be impressed. I'd actually go. Wait a minute. I'd actually go climb Mount Everest if they became a sixth seed. Well, I guess I want to climb Mount Everest, don't I?
I don't know. Are you sure you packed an oxygen mask or something?
I think I've made that threat many times before. Sorry, as I'm trigger happy. Welcome to Empty the Bench, episode 174 on the Empty the Bench podcast network. Kyle Hirshon?
Yeah, I'm here today.
Oh my God. Well, I'll get into more of that later. I'm Nick Morgasen, by the way. Yes, you know that already. You've seen my face all over the place. Follow us on social media at ETB Sports. Oops, and I forgot to change something on the banner. Way to go.
My name's not Johnny. My name's not Johnny, you shithead.
I'm up to a great start. Let's make a quick change right there.
Ever since you got that mic flag, your ego has gotten so over your head.
You're right. Make sure you follow us on social media at ETB Sports, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Follow us on ETB Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Follow us on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ETB Network. And our new website, etbpodcast.com. Okay, I'm out of breath. Kyle Hirshon is here. He's filling in the place of Tom Albano, whose internet decided to be on the fritz.
Yeah, his internet is like Mr. Met after finding out that Keith Hernandez was flirting on Mrs. Met.
That was so bad when you showed me that picture.
No. So what I showed him. So here's context. So I think it was like the first night of spring training. Mr. Met comes into the booth, and Keith's like, "Where's your wife?" It's like, I'd rather have Mrs. Met than Mr. Met. And he gets all upset, whatever, blah, blah, blah. The next day, Mrs. Met shows up. And if you know Mrs. Met, she's got an attractive body. We'll just leave it at that. Yes, I'm simping over a mascot. That's fucking wonderful. So while, the booth was interviewing her, Keith was kind of like checking her out. And I sent him 2 pictures, and you know what? I don't have them like away so I can put them on the screen, but I'll show you what I sent to Nick.
Yeah, I almost fell out of my seat like I did last episode, and yes,
right,
I did.
So there's Keith Hernandez looking at her ass, and the next frame, looking at the camera, is like, "Yeah, I'd hit that." Yeah, she got cake. I'd hit that.
Oh God, we're off to a good start already, and we haven't even gotten into the episode.
And not only that, he pulls out this stupid lines like, "I like your eyelashes," and then Ron Darling's like, "You've used that same line since '78."
Oh. By the way, we were just at Citi Field, and we saw Mrs. Met up close and personal.
Yes, and I wanted Nick to get a photo with her because I know how much he loves her, and unfortunately that did not go out very well. In fact, he resisted my opportunities. I was actually going to tie him up, force him over to the photo area, and do it, but he was like, "Nah, let's get some food. Let's go." And he can't stop me when it comes to food. So no, sorry.
Wow, I'm the one who's stopping for food. By the way, I'm the one who's gone, let's see, since February 20th, since I've had my last fast food. So I'm trying. But all right, enough of us lollygagging. Let's get into the show. A lot to get into. Some big news, unfortunate news kind of broke over the last couple days. with Jalen Carter, the Georgia defensive tackle. We'll get into all that. Projected to be a number 1 overall. Probably not going to be a number 1 overall anymore. We'll get into that. MLB is back in the news, but not for the good kind. When is MLB?
Really? When are they ever in the good kind of news?
I know. I was just about same thing. Manny Machado signs a large extension. Are we surprised? Probably not. The Bears.
Actually, I was kind of surprised, but yeah.
The Chicago Bears are leaning towards trading their number 1 pick and actually believing in their quarterback. We'll get into that as well. Also, according to the Washington Post, owners would initiate a vote to remove Dan Snyder if the Commanders aren't sold.
Good.
So,
get rid of him.
It's about damn time. Also,
in the minute, I'm gonna need us.
Also, Browns owner Jimmy Haslam agrees to buy 25% of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh, great! Here comes no titles for the next 60 years.
Let's just go destroy another team.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield.
Well, not Baker Mayfield anymore.
I know. He drove him out.
Well, where's Baker Mayfield? He's in L.A., I think, right about now, maybe.
Yeah, the Rams.
Oh, well. LeBron James also hurt. Could be out several weeks with a foot injury. I don't know if you saw the clip on social media where you see him mouthing I heard something pop in his leg.
Either that or he's going, I flopped. I flopped. I flopped.
Hey, I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah.
He's got to keep that body pretty.
Flopping.
He's got to keep that body pretty for those billion-dollar opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, let's get into it. The first story off the top of the show: Georgia defensive tackle Jalen Carter has been charged with reckless driving and racing in conjunction with the crash that killed offensive lineman Devin Willock and a recruiting staff member. Now, we've seen countless stories on prospects getting ready to go into the NFL. If they would just keep their reputations clean for long enough, they would go make those millions of dollars and they would never have a worry of life ever again.
Yeah. So, in fact, I actually have the notice from the police department where it all happened. So this is I'm going to read this verbatim for word. As a result of the ongoing investigation into the January 15th. Now, this happened almost 2 months ago. January 15th, 2023 fatal crash that occurred. I'm not going to name the street because I don't want to dox people. The Athens-Clarke County Police Department has secured arrest warrants for 21-year-old Jalen Carter for reckless driving and racing. The investigation found that Chandler LaCroix, driver of a 2021 Ford Expedition, and Jalen Carter, driver of a 2021 Jeep Trackhawk, were operating their vehicles in a manner consistent with racing shortly after leaving the downtown Athens area around 2:30 a.m. The evidence demonstrated that both vehicles switched between lanes, drove in the center turn lane, drove in opposite lanes of travel, overtook other motorists, and drove at high rates of speed in an apparent attempt to outdistance each other. Evidence indicated that shortly before the crash, the Expedition, that would be Chandler LaCroix's car, was traveling at about 104 miles per hour. Now, it also determined that LaCroix had a blood alcohol level of 0.197.
Damn.
So it appears that alcohol may have also been apparent in both of them. So the investigators determined that alcohol impairment, racing, reckless driving, and speed were significant contributing factors to the crash.
Now, another thing to keep track of here, which I didn't know until I looked this up, apparently all the charges that are against him in Georgia are considered misdemeanors.
Yes. He's not getting any sort of alcohol impairment charges as far as I'm aware, which is disgusting.
That's incredible to me.
Yeah, and in fact, I would say that's more than twice the legal limit in Georgia. I don't know what the legal limit is in Georgia, but I'm very shocked that Jalen Carter is not getting sort of DWI or DUI or OWI charge.
0.08. I just looked it up. 0.08 in Georgia.
0.08 in Georgia. So yeah, he was more than double almost triple the limit.
That's crazy.
So not only is LaCroix I don't know what kind of charges LaCroix's getting, but Jalen Carter only getting reckless driving. No go. He should get more.
Yeah, but what about the killing of the offensive lineman, Devin Willock?
Then he should get it. Well, whose car was he in? Was he in Jalen's car? Or was he in?
See, that's not clear. They're not being 100% clear on that part of it as of yet.
Of course not.
But Jalen Carter's Twitter account, and this was as a recording on Wednesday at 1:13 p.m., whatever time it is in Georgia, put out a statement. Now, this probably was not him. This was probably a PR or a lawyer who put this out. So it says, Jalen Carter's statement. This morning, I received a telephone call from the Athens, Georgia Police Department informing me that 2 misdemeanor warrants have been issued against me for reckless driving and racing. Numerous media reports also circulated this morning, as of the day we're recording, containing inaccurate information concerning the tragic events of January 15th, 2023. It is my intention to return to Athens to answer the misdemeanor charges against me and to make certain that the complete and accurate truth is presented. There is no question in my mind that when all of the facts are known, that I will be fully exonerated of any criminal wrongdoing. Now, by the way, that sounds like it's coming from his tense, the way that was written, but someone could have written that for him. But I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think about this at this moment in time. We don't know who Devin Willock, the offensive lineman that ended up getting killed in this crash. We don't know whose car he was in.
Exactly.
So it's crazy.
I mean, okay, so let's see. I'm looking at an article from CNN. It looks like Willock was in LaCroix's car. LaCroix also died after she was taken to the hospital. So
this is not getting better, by the way, the more that we're finding out. Like this is just proving the point that certain athletes, and forget professional athletes, because professional athletes have their own lives once they're out of school and they're out of college.
But this is a staffer, and apparently she was also using a university vehicle. A university vehicle not authorized for use.
Gee, I wonder what... I guess the alcohol maybe did have something to play into it.
Yeah, when you have a legal a blood alcohol level of 0.197. Like, my God, you can't get any stupider than that. I mean,
you're sloshed. That's the only word I can think of. Like,
yeah. And
I don't get it with these college athletes. I don't understand why college athletes who, and let me frame that a little better. College athletes who know they're going to make the professional leagues. Now, I'm not talking about just any college athlete. The ones where they know, if I just hold on a little bit longer, I'm going to make my millions of dollars in the professional league, whether it's the NFL, MLB, NBA, whatever you want to say, and then I don't have to have a single worry ever again in my life.
No. And the problem is that this generation of athletes aren't the brightest. They feel that they are invincible and nothing will hurt them and nothing will be negative towards them. And
including the law.
Including the law. Now, especially now that players are now getting compensated for playing in D1 schools, I think this kind of spurned, into a new power trip for the players. I'm getting paid. That means I can do whatever I want. No, you're still a student. You're still a part of the school system. You should do your academic studies, play the game like you should, and don't do anything stupid. That is beyond stupid, and I hope to God Jalen Carter gets what's coming to him, especially if alcohol was in his system during the time of that crash.
So I'm trying to look it up because the NILs are public information, and from what I'm seeing so far, he did not have an NIL, which I'm a little surprised considering he was projected to be a number 1 overall. Because hey, when you're considered to be projected in the top 5, you're usually a very valued player for the time in the college ranks. I don't know. It's just something is not making sense in this whole situation. What was he doing before he got in the car? Obviously, he was drinking, but what was he at a party? Was he basically
Probably.
like? Was he probably like, "Fuck you, everybody! I'm going to the NFL. I don't care," or was he just celebrating? No one knows.
Yeah. So I'm looking at it again. I'm looking at the report again. Carter did have alcohol in his system.
You know what? This is common sense. I hate to say it a million times. This is common sense. And you even said it before. Today's athletes do not give a shit about life.
Mm-mm. Again, they have this big power trip, this ego, thinking that again, they're invincible, they can do whatever they want. No, this isn't rocket science. This is life. It's called adulting, and you should take accountability and responsibility, which unfortunately a lot of these stupid idiots don't have. And not only that, I think the coach, Georgia head coach Kirby Smart, put it very, very easily. It makes sense. Only calling everything deeply disturbing. I think after this incident, I think he will not be but he's not going to get drafted at all. Now, I think he's going to lose everything with Georgia.
You know what's going to well, if he declared for the draft, you can't go back to college. But
right, you know what I mean.
But you know what? I was listening around on the radio today in the car while they were discussing this incident on a lot of different channels, because I'm always curious to see how different networks carry news and talk about it. And some of them were saying, and I couldn't believe this, but I'm not surprised by it either, someone is going to try and get him at the lowest common denominator value because of his incident.
I wouldn't even bother.
No, I'm not saying you should.
No. Right. No, but I'm just saying, the lowest common denominator, this isn't like a Trevor Bauer incident. No, this guy was involved with somebody who died and was drinking and driving 100+ miles an hour on a busy street. This isn't, like a domestic violence case. No, in fact, this kid is a liability. This kid should have nothing to do with college football or the NFL. Not even like the XFL or arena football. I think he should be barred from the entire sport.
Right. And I hate to say this also, but the NFL has a horrible reputation, and that's why someone like him might unfortunately end up on an NFL roster, whether it's
Deshaun Watson.
It's a good point. But I think he's going to end up on an NFL roster. I think he might get drafted like in the late rounds. That's just, I'm not saying he should, but I feel like a team is going to say, hey, he was supposed to be projected number 1 overall. He fell all the way down here. Now we could get him. But how much is lower value worth the risk of what he could potentially do in the NFL? Now, when you're in the NFL, it's real life. These guys do whatever they want. They don't care. I mean, but now college football is being treated like the NFL because, like we said, the NIL deals, all the money that they're making. Some of them are making millions in college. Millions.
I don't get it. I think college players should not be compensated. They should be compensated only for their merit in their schoolwork, honestly.
Well, that's what a scholarship is for, isn't it?
Well, yeah, here's the thing. If they're a good player and they're shit in school, they shouldn't get a scholarship. It should be, if you're good at football and you're good in school, you should get a scholarship. I don't think you should be riding on scholarship if you got fucking D's and F's. Class.
You're right, because we see that all over the last couple of decades. Just that athletes get scholarships because they're good at football, they're good at basketball. I mean, what's their grade point average? Or my favorite was, I think it was Syracuse. I think Jim Boeheim got suspended, and because they created fake classes that were made for the athletes to pass.
Yeah, because they couldn't pass algebra or any sort of science or history class. No way. They're too I just activated my Siri because of that. Thanks a lot. But no, come on, man. You can't be that stupid.
Well, I'll give you a few instances, like USC. Name the top college football schools: Alabama, Georgia,
Auburn, Oklahoma, Penn State.
You think they're going to give a shit about grades if they're athlete? In those towns, the college football makes them money.
I mean, when you drive hundreds of thousands of people into the stands each week, of course, you're going to drive up revenue.
But I'm just saying those schools could give two shits about grades. Like most of the time, I guarantee, and I'm not saying this, I don't know this for a fact, but I guarantee you behind the scenes, these coaches and the school is involved saying, all right, we'll let that F slide as long as you're bringing the money in for the college and doing all we need. We'll let that F slide. No problem. I don't know. If Jalen Carter, if he is responsible for killing somebody, he needs to go away. He needs to go away. Yeah. And he needs to be banned and not be allowed. But the NFL doesn't do that.
Nope, NFL doesn't do that. They don't care. They want the money.
The NFL is known for domestic violence. That's been their reputation. I think they have the highest domestic violence rate out of all the professional sports.
Dude, they fucking like Michael Vick come back after fucking dog fighting. I don't think we've got any hope at all.
Well, and now Michael Vick, I think, was on Fox. He's on one of the Fox pre-games or whatever. But, I mean... Well, you could say the same thing for baseball. A-Rod did steroids, got caught, suspended for, 180-something games, and now he's got a job with ESPN and Fox Sports.
And he's got the potential of becoming a Hall of Famer.
He'll never be a Hall of Famer. Never be a Hall of Famer. Not as long as we're alive. But, all right, let's transition out. Since we're talking about baseball, let's go to baseball. I can't believe we're talking about baseball this early, March 1st.
I love it. I love it so much.
but pitchers and catchers officially report to spring training. We have our first look at the pitch clock. I think the pitch clock is it's 15 seconds?
It's 15 seconds for nobody on base, 20 seconds for men on base, and 40 seconds in between innings.
Well, that was normal. They were already testing that out with the national games. They would put a minute and a half up on those timers up there.
Yeah.
But did you see the incident that happened in the spring training game between the Red Sox and the Braves?
Yep, I did see that, and I laughed out loud.
Tie game in the bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, 3-2 count. You called the batter out on a strikeout. I mean, you can't.
And it ends the inning. Actually ends the game on a tie.
Yeah, because in spring training they don't play past the ninth inning.
It doesn't count.
So I don't know what to think about this. They need to shorten the games. The games are too long. They're taking forever. When you're averaging 3 hours plus, people don't want to sit there and watch games.
Yeah. I mean, granted, I just want to be at the stadium. I just want to, have a good time. Well, the problem is you're there to watch a game. You're not there just to have a beer and have a bunch of food. But no, you're supposed to be there because you're watching the game. And you know what's interesting? I was actually looking up the total times for the last few Mets spring training games, and the average is like 2 hours and 25 minutes, and that is short.
That is short.
I mean, I'm actually for it. I think, it's done a lot to speed up the process. It gets rid of a lot of the boring no action game, especially with the players calling time and all the pitchers stepping off. I find that to be incredibly irritating and boring. If you want, you want to be prepared, step in the box, prepare for a pitch.
Well, that was always funny. I don't know who it was. There was some guys that would step way out of the box onto the grass, adjust the gloves. That was always a thing, to slow down the pitcher.
Yeah, now you can't do that anymore.
Well, you'd have to do it in the box.
Yes, you have to do it in the box.
But you saw the gradual change. So first it was you have to keep a foot in the box. That was the original thing. You can't step out of the box. Now they would just turn to the side with one foot in the box and still do that. Now you had the pitch clock. I don't know if I'm a fan. I think, and by the way, they're not doing this in the playoffs. You did hear that, right?
Oh, they're not? Okay.
So then what's
So
the point of doing it in the regular season?
I don't get it. I really don't get it. If you're not going to utilize that for the playoffs, you're going to spend 162 games doing it, and then you're going to go back to square one. So what happened to all that training you were, and all that practice you were doing just to find out that, hey, if you make it to postseason, you don't have to do it. What the fuck?
I know it's I'll pull it out since we're talking about it. Good old Rob
Manfred,
who can't keep his promises if you asked him to. I mean, and then you just have some of the Manfred man rule, as we like to call it, in extra innings. The man on second base, not a fan whatsoever. I feel like you're taking the game out of the pitcher's hands right away in extra innings.
Yeah, because one hit could win it.
So, I mean, will it make the extra innings games go faster? Yes, but I don't know. It'll take some getting used to for me with the clock. Now,
yeah, people just gonna have to get used to it. I mean, it's a new thing, of course. The players are, still trying to figure it out. They're getting used to the bigger bases, the no shift rule, and especially the new throw over rule, which I don't like. I don't like the
throw over rule.
So you can only throw 3 times.
Oh, that to
first base, and if 2 times is fine, but on the third try you have to get an out, otherwise they call it a balk.
See, I'm not a fan of that. If you want to have a certain amount of throws, fine. After you hit 3 throws, you can't throw over there anymore. But you can't call a balk because you're assuming an out on the third throw over. That's not right.
Yeah, I mean, it actually kind of affects both the pitcher and the runner because now they have to be more aggressive if they want to steal.
No, actually, I think it's better for the runner, this rule. Because then that means that they're not going to throw over as much. So
more opportunities to steal.
You're going to see the stolen base game, I think, come back now. Because now you can't throw over 100 million times anymore.
Right.
I mean, and that used to be a cat and mouse game, if you remember, with certain batters up at the plate. You just keep throwing over. And you're like, all right. And you'd hear the crowd go, boo! Like every time I'm sure you and we've been to many games to the point where they're just throwing over to first. And you're just like, just throw the damn pitch.
Yeah, just either steal or just whatever.
But I don't know. We'll see how these rules play out. I mean, the pitch clock will take some getting used to. I think what this will also cause, the games will be closer.
Yes.
Because now you don't have all this time to set up in the box. Like you almost have to be more in rhythm when you're playing a faster game.
Yeah. I know Scherzer's happy about it. I know Manny Machado is going to be basically an 0-1 guy every time he comes up to the plate.
Yeah, I know. And by the way, since you want to talk about Manny Machado signs an 11-year, $350 million contract extension. Now, I did the math. I think it's like $32 million a year, or close to $32 million a year.
Pretty much. Honestly, I was very surprised that the Padres made that move.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy cow, you can't trust this guy. And then you decide to do this? Yeah. I mean, you decide to open up the bank. Mr. Preller, the owner of the Padres, who was hiding all the money under his mattress, is now spending it all?
Well, then again, this is a smart move for Manny as well. He wanted to get paid, and he's getting paid.
He already was getting paid. He had $150 million left.
Right, but you know what? He wanted more, so guess what? He got more.
Yeah, but you want to know the dumb thing? He said right before the season, "I'm opting out." And I'm like,
yeah,
what?
that was the move for the Padres to make. It's like, oh shit, we gotta lock this guy in.
I wouldn't have locked this guy in. This guy's a headache.
Now, I mean, I would have honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised if Uncle Steve made a move for him. But
I was thinking the same thing, to be honest. You know what's so weird now? Before Steve Cohen, no one thought the Mets for anybody. Now that Steve Cohen is the owner, because he has all this money, it's like, all right, who's Steve Cohen going to steal next?
I don't know. I mean, he's probably going to steal J-Lo so she could play Mrs. Met.
Oh, Jesus.
But no, I mean, as a Met fan, I'm happy, that you know we haven't seen moves like this since the '80s. We're locking up players for long-term deals. We almost got Carlos Correa, which I thought was a big mistake. But thank God the deal fell through. This guy's got an ankle, mutant ankle.
Radioactive ankle, I think of more. But
I guess. But yeah.
But this deal with Manny Machado, like, and people are already complaining that we can't go to games. The ticket prices are too high. But you're giving a guy who could give two shits about the game of baseball 11 years, $350 million. He's not going to try now.
No. And not only that, the Players Association made this point that, in my opinion, is going to keep making ticket prices go higher and higher and higher. They will never agree to a salary cap.
Yeah, so I was going to bring that up to you next, that Tony Clark, who I'm not a fan. As a player, I liked him, but I don't like him as the head of the Players Association. I think he's almost costed baseball. I think we would have lost more games if it wasn't for the other negotiators on the players' side when we go through the COVID situation. But Tony Clark basically came out, and I kind of agree with him. You can't put a salary cap in baseball.
No, you can't, because it's so dynamic. The players are so dynamic, and it's always an ever-changing field. You never know who's going to be the big talent. You never know who's going to, especially if you're paying like the big stars. What if Bryce Harper has an for shit year?
Well, that was kind of last year, but
he definitely was clutch in the playoffs.
Well, yes, I'll give you that one, but that contract's kind of a joke. Hey, Scott Boras, good job. You got another contract.
Good job.
Even though it's not hitting your bank account. Oh, wait, 4% of that contract's hitting your bank account. But the Manny Machado contract, I think, is going to be a massive failure, like every other long-term contract that's signed now in baseball for 10-plus years. And I think eventually we're going to revisit this type of contract with Shohei Ohtani down the line with 10 years, $500 million.
Yeah, this guy could be the first $500 million player. San Diego wants to try and get him, but I don't think Ohtani would want to be in San Diego. I think the only two logical options are either in Queens or in the Dodgers,
which is basically right next door in LA.
Yeah.
The Dodgers.
I'm not sure if he wants to stay on the West Coast, but I know that the big money teams are going to go after him hard.
Well, the only thing I can think of that might make sense on the West Coast, it's closer to Japan, isn't it?
I guess, yeah.
So that's the only thing I can really think of. Now, Rob Manfred has really screwed this up. Again, I go back to the Rob Manfred nonsense, because why are they not marketing the shit out of Shohei Ohtani? They're not.
I don't know. They're not. It's a crime, because this guy has become such a rare anomaly. This guy has pitching prowess. This guy's got a fucking bat. This is a guy who could probably hit, if he was like super healthy, he could probably hit 40, 50, maybe 60 home runs. It's always challenging when you're dealing with a pitcher / hitter, because you're putting more strain on your body by doing both,
and also
your elbow,
and also spreading it out, because you have to kind of, all right, you pitched a certain amount of times, now you got to hit. I like that they changed the rule, though. Now I think that he can technically stay in to hit when he pitches, because they kind of separate. Well, now that you don't have the just pitcher anymore with the DH in both leagues, I guess technically you can do that.
My only problem is, if you take him out, from a start, he needs time to recover. His arm is still, rocket hot. It needs to cool down, needs to rest. So what happens in between those starts, when he's, at the plate DHing? Obviously, he's got like big elbow protection, so he doesn't hurt anything. but you got to at least somehow let the guy rest, because God forbid, he goes ahead and makes his next start and he's got no control over his fastball.
Right, and that's the issue you run into as a hitter and a pitcher. And I remember when we were a lot younger, we watched the crossover American League National League games, and you would see guys like CeCe Sabathia who would hit home runs as a pitcher, or Dontrelle Willis, or I don't know. There's so many of them that became really good hitters, and that was an anomaly because teams were so afraid to have their pitchers up in the National League style of baseball. I mean, you know what probably changed the rule for good? I mean, it started a long time ago, but Chien-Ming Wang with the Yankees running the bases in Houston. When he got hurt with the famous Liz Frank sprain running around third base.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of put it in motion.
Yeah, same thing with DeGrom. I mean, DeGrom had a really good bat.
He was his own run support sometimes.
Yeah, I was at a game. It was his best game ever. 15 career strikeouts. No, 15 strikeouts in the game, his most in his career. Gets 2 hits. One of them was an RBI double.
Did he end up winning that game or no?
Yes, he did.
So he won on his own offense.
Yes. I think there may have been a home run by another player, but I don't remember. But I know he definitely contributed to the win.
That's all right. He's not going to do well in Texas anyway.
No.
And he's hurt already.
Yeah, he's already hurt. He's already. I saw the side ties. I'm like, here we go. He's not our problem anymore. At first, I was devastated when he signed with the Rangers. Because DeGrom was such a mainstay in New York for a long time, but at the same time, the money he was asking for the liability that he already has become,
and he's older.
Yeah, he's much older now. He's going to be 40 in 5 years or something. So by the time his contract's over, he'll be 40.
I mean, the Rangers were desperate. That's why they gave him the money. And there was a lot of weird incentives in that contract also. So I don't think he's going to hit all those.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point with the Rangers and all that stuff. They got all these fantastic players. They locked up Marcus Semien. They locked up Corey Seager for a long time, and they still played like shit.
Oh, like try way under 500 shit.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter what kind of talent you bring. If your team isn't good together, your team is going to be shit. And I guarantee you, Jacob will have probably 1 or 2 games where he's absolutely lights out, but there will be games where he gives up maybe like a run or 2 runs. Maybe there'll be time he'll be 2017 Jacob deGrom, where in Texas, believe it or not, was his worst game ever, giving up 8 runs in 3 innings.
Now, maybe he might be right in some senses that the offense will be better technically, because in Texas they always have offensive juggernauts, but they don't play defense.
No.
No.
You need offense and defense to win games, not just one.
So we'll see what happens there. But basically, my point is these contracts are insane. The one you see up here, Manny Machado's, is insane. And he's been hurt too.
This guy, again, injury liability.
Now, he'll, like you said, I think he'll be 41 at the end of the contract.
He'll be 41 when his contract is over, yes.
Let's put it this way. His career is going to be done by the time this contract is over, essentially.
Oh, of course.
Because
maybe earlier.
I love how people say, like, oh, you could play baseball till you're 50. Yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah, not that easy, bud.
You're not Julio Franco.
Yeah, he's still playing baseball, and he's almost 70.
Wait, he's still playing baseball?
I think he's more of a coach now.
Oh, okay.
But he's like, he would still play baseball into his late 50s, into his 60s.
I mean, that man was in incredible shape.
Hold on.
Are you looking it up?
How old is Julio Franco? Oh, he's only 64. He's only 64.
Hey, he was in good shape, even until the end of his career. But, all right. Let's transition around a little bit. We'll go from baseball to the NFL. So, a lot of news coming out of the NFL. So, according to Adam Schefter, the Bears are leaning to trading the number 1 overall pick. Will they trust Justin Fields to actually be the starting quarterback in Chicago? And now, Chicago's been a shit show the last couple of years.
they have been champions of the Tank Bowl for the last few years. I think, I think it'd be unwise to trade. I don't know what benefit you'd get out of it.
You might get a lot of value. It's a number 1 overall pick. Depends.
I mean, I get it, but at the same time, you need to rebuild your team, and you need a good pick to at least try and get it started. I mean, I'd be happy if they traded that number 1 pick to the Jets, but we need a quarterback. But I'm not going to get into another tangent. But I don't think I don't think trading their number 1 pick would be the best decision.
Yeah, I don't know 100%. I mean, it depends what they're looking for now. They don't need a quarterback. So usually in the top 3 to 5 picks, you're usually looking at quarterbacks. So now Justin Fields had an up and down year, and there was all these rumors and speculation that Justin Fields might be out or they might trade him, and then they could use the number 1 pick to the quarterback. But the quarterback market is not good out of college this year. It was like one of the worst in many years.
No.
So
and the free agent market's not that great either.
I mean, you have guys like Derek Carr, but Derek Carr's not going to Chicago.
No, he's going to the Jets.
Well, it's either that or Mr. Darkness. I
prefer Derek Carr over Mr. Jeopardy.
Yeah, you remember him as Mr. Jeopardy. I'm going to remember him as Mr. Darkness Retreat. You have to admit that's hilarious, by the way.
But, I mean, you're in a dark room so
for 4 days.
You're like this for 4 days? what purpose is? I mean, is it that would drive me nuts?
I mean, I could just see it now, like him in a dark room and going like this.
RELAX.
I just see it now.
RELAX.
Why?
And by the way, apparently his meals were delivered to his room also. Why am I not surprised, right?
So you have to open the door.
No. It was one of those. I think it was like the jail system door, like where you open.
So it was like the little cubby, and it would.
Yes, I think so.
But you would still have to open it. It would go.
The light, my eyes.
Wait.
Oh my god! But I don't know. The Bears, they need a lot of help. They need more than the first pick help, to be honest. Because they are a capital show.
You would think.
So we'll see what goes on in Chicago. Chicago needs a lot of help. That division is not a good one to be in either. But we'll see what happens with them. All right, now let's get to the controversy now. According to the Washington Post, the owners would initiate a vote to remove Dan Snyder if Commanders aren't sold. Now, for most people who have been living under a rock the past couple weeks, Daniel Snyder, I forgot which bank it was he got in touch with to, it might have been Bank of America, I'm not sure, to start the selling process for the team. Thank God. But so far has not happened. But according to the Washington Post, apparently the owners could initiate a vote to have him removed. But my question about this is, okay, so you removed him, but doesn't he technically still own the team?
Right. I mean...
So what does removing him do?
Who knows? I mean, the thing is, the demands that Snyder is asking for are absolutely... insane. So basically he's asking for qualified immunity from any sort of legal liability if he sells the team, which it also includes a threat to sue if the indemnification condition is not met. So basically he's trying to say, oh yeah, I'll sell the team only if you can let me do whatever I want.
Yeah, buddy, it doesn't work like that.
It's not like, you're playing a game of tag. It's like, tag, you're in. No, I'm in a shield. I have a shield. Like,
I mean,
no.
the guy is such a dumbass. I
got
can't.
so much baggage. He's got so much baggage. It's just. I mean, please. I don't care if it's Jeff Bezos or Josh Harris. Just please, somebody take over this goddamn team. I mean, it's not my team, so I don't give a shit. But get this guy out of here.
I mean, apparently Snyder's trying to shut out, reportedly, Jeff Bezos from even making a bid.
Dude, the guy's got more money in his pocket than you'll ever have in your life.
Why wouldn't you use him as a negotiating tool? Doesn't mean you have to accept his bid.
It's Jeff fucking Bezos. He's got money. Amazon money, dude. You realize how much money that would bring into your pockets?
No, I'm aware. But technically, legally, he could use him as a bid to keep getting the price to go higher if he wanted to.
Yeah. I mean, especially if, there are other people who are interested in buying the team, the commies and everything, but still.
I just love how this made it into the U.S. Oversight and Reform Committee also. Just how much bullshit went down with this situation. And this goes all the way back to the cheerleader situation.
Yeah.
If you remember. Or when he was, there was another report that he was at a dinner and he kept putting his hands on one of the female's legs while they were sitting around the table.
Because he's stupid. He's like Urban Meyer.
No, Urban Meyer went to a strip club. I think that's worse. Don't get me wrong. But Daniel Snyder has more power, so actually he needs to be more responsible.
Yeah, he does. And the fact that, he's like, you know what? It's fine. Hi, I'm Daniel Snyder. And yes, I've done some shitty things. I've groped women when they shouldn't have been groped.
Oh my God.
But haven't we all done that in our lives? So I'm asking you, if you want to buy my team, you will not put me against it. Otherwise, I will tell my mommy, and I will be very upset.
You suck!
You suck! I suck? Okay.
No, I'm just when I heard you say he wants to basically be exonerated from all the stuff, this went off in my head.
You gotta warn me next time.
That is pretty loud, actually.
It is. But holy shit! I mean, you can't really be serious. To think that you got a ton of baggage, and you think that what? Oh, I'm going to make this a condition. Also, you're basically just being a bitch at this point. Just do us a favor.
Just run away. Go away. Go away.
Go into your little hole. Go into the darkness with Aaron Rodgers. Be sure to get your food delivered like this.
He can go join the Suns owner who had all his issues.
Yeah.
Hey, he just made $4 billion, by the way, for selling the Suns and the Mercury.
Yeah, oh my God.
By the way, I always find it hilarious that these guys who are dumbasses as owners and they do these dumb things like groping and sexual harassment and abuse of employees or whatever. And then they say, all right, I'll just sell my team. All right, $4 billion. Yay! And I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's just a way to get away from that situation so they can go ahead and keep doing what they were doing, just not in the public eye.
Go ask Jeffrey Loria.
Yeah. Oh, God.
When he sold the Marlins. I mean, it's so ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I have one thing. Hey, Daniel Snyder, this is what I think of you.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Yep.
Thank you, Fish.
Fish. Thank you, Fish.
But I hope the owners initiate a vote. Go ahead.
I hope so. I hope they get rid of his ass.
But like I said, if the team is not sold, what this basically is doing, this is basically saying, all right, Daniel Snyder, you can't stay here, but you can own the team still. You can't take someone's investment away from them.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You're just going to like lock all the doors and to his offices and be like, you can't go in here. We initiated a vote.
We're not coming out the closet. We have to go away.
And let me just be very clear about something. We're not making fun of the awful situations that have gone down with people. Let me just make that clear. It's just, it's comical, like what's gone on through this whole thing. That
he's just a shit human being.
Right. He's an asshole. He can't behave himself. And now he wants to be exonerated from any charges that could come. So wait, does that mean you want the guys or gals who take over as owners to take all the blame when you leave? You just want the money?
Yeah, he just wants the money. He just wants all the baggage given to someone. We should take my baggage and push it somewhere else.
Oh God, SpongeBob references galore. My favorite quote out of this whole thing was when Snyder reportedly said, quote, "They can't fuck with me."
Yes, they can.
Hey, if you don't want any more sponsors, you don't want any more. Well, he doesn't care. He's got billions. He doesn't care. Yeah. You really think he cares? Once he sells the team, he's going to make $4 billion, $5 billion, whatever he's going to make, and then he'll just go back into his fancy mansion and never come out again.
Yeah, he'll just be like a grumpy old troll, like, get away, I'm Dan Snyder. Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh man.
All right, let's. And I forgot about this. I forgot about this also. So the Commanders also released Carson Wentz, who was kind of a joke.
Well, it looks like Carson went somewhere else.
Wow, sounds about right.
That's where you should play the Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I could. I wasn't paying attention, but. No one's gonna get that reference the whole time we're doing this episode.
No, they will not.
We're gonna have to explain this at the end of the episode, probably. But all right, let's move around. Let's have some more fun with owners. You ready?
Yeah, more owners, more shitty people. Yay!
Browns owner Jimmy Haslam agrees to buy Milwaukee Bucks. Now, actually, that is correct technically, but let me just rephrase it. So Browns owner Jimmy Haslam agrees to buy 25% of the Milwaukee Bucks from Mark Lazary, who is the co-owner of the Bucks. He sold his portion for under a $3.5 billion valuation.
See, I don't know much about basketball. I didn't like the Bucks recently win a championship or something.
They did.
Here comes a 60-year drought, just like the Cleveland Browns.
I mean, so the Haslams already destroyed the Browns in the NFL. Are they going to destroy the Bucks in the NBA next?
I mean, it could be worse. It could be Woody Johnson and the Jets, where they haven't won a championship in almost 60 years.
Why'd you have to bring that up?
Because I'm a Jets fan and you're a Jets fan. We have to suffer together.
Look at all the failure.
Yep. Thanks, Cosmo.
That's not even the one I was looking for, but that one works too. But anyway, the one I was actually looking for was... But I'm not surprised. Jimmy Haslam and his brother, that's also not mentioned on here, both... I think they own a group or something that owns a bunch of other stuff. And so this is under it now, and the Browns are a shit show. Now you're going to make the Bucks a shit show? I mean,
right.
I mean, the Bucks are a good team. They got Giannis. Hopefully they don't fuck up and cause Giannis to leave, because that would just make the team be awful again if he left. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm trying to think of another team where... Could you think of another cross owner, like from another sport, that would do good in a different sport, ownership-wise?
I mean, it all depends on if they're smart with their investments and all that stuff.
You know what I would want? And this would be nuts. You would think I'm nuts. I want Steve Cohen to own the Knicks.
Steve Cohen to own the Knicks. I mean, I'd much prefer him own the Jets.
No, but I'm saying get rid of James Dolan.
Yeah. Oh my God. And his stupid $300 a year subscription plan with MSG.
Oh, you're talking about MSG Plus. Yeah.
Yeah, MSG Plus. $300 a year. Who wants to pay that? That's like a cable bill. Come on, man.
It's more than a cable bill.
Like, think. You don't own Cablevision anymore, man.
You know what I have to say? Hey, James Dolan, you want to know what I think of your $300 a month subscription plan?
Stay off the weed. Duh.
Was that Stephen A. Smith?
Yes. Stay off the weed, James Dolan. Sounds like he's laughing on the weed. But these ownership things are crazy. We're seeing evaluations all over the place. And now we're having owners from different worlds owning things they shouldn't. So
that's my cue.
Hey, come back here.
Oh shit, where's my button? There it is. Wait, that's not it. That's it.
All right, a few more stories and then we can get out of here. LeBron James. Now,
LeBron James.
Now, I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm the notorious LeBron James hater.
Well, why was that? Because he's such a drama king?
Yeah, well, I think he's a drama king. But so LeBron James gets hurt the other day. And if you saw,
he usually does.
Yeah, as he usually does. If you saw the clips on social media, he's lying on the ground holding his leg like a fetal position. Kind of. And all of a sudden you hear him mouth, or you actually hear it, something popped in my leg.
Was it something popped or I flopped? I flopped. No, I saw the video. No, he said something's popped. We just don't know exactly what it is. But like, weren't you mentioning before the show something about the dunk contest?
Oh, so I went on a rant last episode that they should cancel NBA All-Star Weekend because stars don't compete in the dunk contest because they're afraid of getting hurt and losing their millions and billions. Like I said in the intro.
Which is why I also think that the NFL should cancel the Pro Bowl games because it's stupid.
You can't even tackle. Not allowed to tackle.
No. It's just stupid.
It's flag football.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Actually, didn't they turn it into a flag football game, if I'm not mistaken, this year?
They did.
So what's the point? Why don't we just go play capture the flag?
At least, do it like what baseball does with the home run derby and the All-Star game. And that's actually entertaining to watch.
You realize that the MLB All-Star game is really the only one that's played somewhat normal as a game?
Yeah, because it's baseball.
But that's what's funny. Like, people shit on baseball for everything else. But in the All-Star game, you noticed that it's a normal game.
Yeah.
The only thing that's different is that you have players from all different teams competing. That's it.
Exactly. It's AL and NL.
Which, it is kind of weird, though, now, because the leagues are not different anymore. How do you really have an All-Star game with a competing format? Like, that's what's weird.
I don't know. I really don't.
But I guess now you have an extra player, though, now on the NL side because you have the DH. I mean,
yeah, you do.
In, which I guess is better in some instincts, but I don't know. LeBron James probably tanked, and I don't mean that in the way like he purposely tanked, but he just tanked their playoff chances.
Yeah.
Now,
how long do we have until the finals, or at least the playoffs?
Well, there's like another 20-ish games before the regular season is over, and I'm looking up their standings now. I think they're in like 13th or 14th in the Western Conference.
Yeah. I think he did it just so he can get out of playing the rest of the year because he knows he's not going to make the playoffs. Come on, LeBron James.
Okay. Sound like Stephen A. partially there. So they're in 12th. They're the 12th seed right now.
Also, they would still have a chance.
They're a game out of the 10th spot. But I don't know if you know the new format. So now the 7 through 10 seeds are now what they call a play-in tournament.
So like a wild card.
So what happens is I think the 7 and the 10 play each other. I forgot how it works. The teams play each other and then they move up. So, but instead of it being like the 8, it used to be 8. Are you done? There are 8 seeds normally, but they added 2 more by having this play-in tournament.
Right.
So now the 7 and the 10, let's say, teams seeded 7 to 10 in each conference will compete in a play-in tournament at the end of the regular season. Okay, and then they move up to face whoever.
So it's literally a wild card.
It's the fake wild card, I like to call it.
Yeah.
But they're a game out. If LeBron is going to be out for the significant amount of time they're talking about, they're not coming back.
No.
And AD's hurt again. Anthony Davis is hurt again.
Well, here's an impersonation of LeBron James. You ready? Well, it looks like I'm up to play some basketball. Oh, never mind.
I mean, that sounds about right. I mean, he's always flopped when needed. I just and if Tom was here, haterade. That's what I used to get all the time. Don't get me wrong, LeBron James is an all-time. Like now he's the all-time scoring leader. I get it.
This guy is not probably. He definitely is the first ballot Hall of Famer. Probably one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
He's not the GOAT.
He's not the GOAT. No, you could argue that for Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, man, come on.
I would take Michael Jordan any day over LeBron James.
I would take I would take Michael Jordan playing Chicago White Sox baseball over LeBron James.
Damn. Now that's clippable right there. But people are trying to compare it to now. Like, oh, well, LeBron James would kick Michael Jordan's ass now. I don't know about that. Michael Jordan still plays a little bit of pickup basketball. The difference is Michael Jordan can take a hit and not cry about it.
Yeah.
I got fouled. I mean, oh my God. Like, and I hate to say this, but I don't know if you know Skip Bayless, right?
Yes.
He's another guy I can't stand for hot takes.
Is he a LeBron apologist?
I don't know. I think he calls out LeBron a lot. But my favorite was I saw a clip of him chastising Luka Doncic, who's the star on the Mavericks. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't believe it. And I put it up on our YouTube channel as a YouTube short. He basically said that Luka Doncic, on Undisputed, he said Luka's got to stop bitching about foul calls. I was like, really? So that's a bitch calling out someone who's bitching. Just saying.
If you want to be a bitch calling out fouls, your name's LeBron James. You make one move.
That's gonna be funny from now on. Or choking like I just did. Choking!
Yeah.
Choking!
I don't have my thing ready.
I know. I'm just kidding. But all right, one more story. I don't know. Did you see the big fight the other day?
No, I don't care about boxing, but I know about the outcome. Thank God that fucking loser Jake Paul lost.
I can't stand the Paul brothers. You know what? Logan is more tolerable than Jake. I'll say that.
Yeah, Jake has become way out of control. Man.
And it was just funny though because people like Tommy Fury was kind of like a model-ish type person. Like and like they were fighting YouTubers and all these people. It's not a real fight. Not real fighting.
No. Come on, man. Where's the blood? Where are the broken legs? Like, come on, dude. This isn't shit for clout. This is boxing. And
I'm just tired of that. Fight a real boxer.
Yes. Like, get as much as I hate him, get fucking Floyd Mayweather in there.
You mean Mr. Billion-dollar gambler?
Yeah. Another flopper.
I feel like people are going to watch this and be like, what the hell's going on Kyle's end? Choking! I feel like that's... Well, I was about to say something, but I'll save it for the end because you know you knew what I was going to talk about.
I knew it.
But yeah, I hate Jake Paul. Logan Paul's tolerable. I actually like his podcast, by the way. I listen to Logan's podcast every week because he gets good interviews. I'm surprised he's actually a good interviewer.
I lost all respect for him after the Japan.
Oh,
video.
that was horrible. Looking like someone died and like that whole shit. Like that was bad. I can't.
It's like, what? With dead body? Get a close look of it.
Like, dude, fuck off.
Yeah, that was bad. I'll give you that one. That was bad. But Jake Paul, I can't stand. Like, I'm kind of glad he lost. And he was like the major favorite to win the fight, which was even worse.
Yeah.
Did you see that Drake put a shitload of money on Jake Paul as a bet?
I fucking loved it. I fucking love it when everything goes wrong for Drake.
I'm trying to look up because someone posted the bet. Oh my God. He wagered $400,000 on Jake Paul to knock out Tommy Fury.
And it didn't happen.
And I'm like, wow. Didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah.
Drake got punched out instead.
Yeah.
But you know what? Tom Albano's the co-host with me. That's his beat. He writes for Fansided and does all that stuff. That's why if his internet wasn't down, this would have been a perfect topic for him.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. We're all trying to grow, and his podcast I think he's got like 20 million subscribers or something on YouTube. It's an insane number. I would take 1 million at this point.
Yeah.
If I could have 1 million.
I'd take 10,000, man.
Actually, I would just take 1,000 right now. How about that? Let's get monetized.
Yeah, let's get monetized. Let's actually do shit.
Because once we make money, we could do whatever we want.
Shit. That means I can do this more.
You're just having a lot of fun with that, aren't you?
Yep.
Well, we made it to the end of the episode, but before we go, since you're here, and of course, where's my banner? If I could find it. There it is! Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, 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 ding.
Look who's back. Look who's back. Look who's back.
The bitch is back.
God, I remember that from a Nickelodeon. What was that? All that used to do the that song. Look who's back. Look who's back.
Yeah. Yeah, so April 13th, which is a Thursday, it'll be our first episode back. There's a lot of big changes coming to the show. In fact, our first episode will be in Hartford, of all places. I've been allowed, or not allowed, I am attending a special convention based on the best decade in the world, the 1990s. And that means a lot of people are going to be there, especially some big TV stars, some music stars. There's going to be a reunion of all that. Amanda Bynes is making her first public appearance in nearly a decade.
I heard Steve Burns is going to be there too.
Steve Burns, Mr. Blue's Clues, is going to be there. Mark Summers, a former guest on the show, will also be there. Joey Fatone and Chris Kirkpatrick. Now remember, I'm a huge NSYNC fan, so I'm going to die when I see them in person.
Now, if only you could capture dying on camera while meeting them.
Wait, no, it would go something like this.
Why do I feel like this is just going to become a recurring bit on your show? You're just going to You need like no, but you need it to have like the danger alarm sound on top of it when you hit the button.
No, I need the secret slime action. That's what I need.
Yes. Oh my god. Yeah. By the way, Kyle and I could talk 90s forever. We really could.
Yeah, we really could. But yeah, that's gonna be April 13th. The next episode will actually be a couple weeks after. It'll be the Mets home opener, my first ever home opening day game, and that is where I'm going to proclaim my love for Mrs. Met.
Can you know what? You know what'd be funny? Doing a proposal to Mrs. Met.
No, I don't have a baseball. I was like, it's like I'm holding a baseball. It's like I have a gift for you. No, it's like I just gave birth to your child. It's a baseball.
Oh my god! I could just see that now. Like I could see the title of the episode being "Proposed to Mrs. Met."
Denied. Mr. Met will probably kick my ass.
I love it how we were and quick story that when you and I went and we had the inside access when we went to Citi Field.
Yeah.
I love how did Mr. Met and Mrs. Met come by? I can't remember. They both walked.
They did. They both came.
I think we got fist bumps from Mr. Met. Mrs. Met was being a raging bitch.
Yeah. Well, no. I got a hug from Mr. Met.
Right, and Mrs. Met was being a raging bitch.
She was doing air hugs, that fucking bitch.
And I was like, "Wow, that's cold."
I was so upset.
That was a fun experience, by the way. Well, maybe we could discuss that.
We'll have to do that again.
Yeah, and you also have to tell the people that somehow I'm involved in this show with you.
Yeah, you're gonna be my Andy Griffith. You're gonna be my fucking Ed McMahon. You're gonna be my victim of useless trivia.
Oh, great! Now, for most people who don't know, I was put on the spot during one of the interviews we did with Aaron Solomon, right?
Yes.
By the way, who I like, and I became friends with him too on Facebook.
Yes.
And I think Weakest Link is coming back.
Weakest Link's coming back in April.
So I don't want to give too much away of what we're doing, but yes, the Hirsh Show is back on the ETB network April 13th, and the plan is every other week, every 2 weeks, and that gives him plenty of time to put his shows together because we learned over the last iteration that getting guests is not easy.
It is not easy, especially the guests that I want. So yeah.
So make sure you tune into that April 13th, and I guess we'll do Thursdays since you're starting on a Thursday. So yeah. I guess that'll be the plan. But that just about does it. Make sure you follow us on social media, which I fixed to include your correct handle. I'm at Morgasen Radio. You're at I put your Twitter at HirshN12 or at Hirsh Does Things on Instagram.
Yeah, Hirsh Does Things would be the better one on Instagram.
But and the Hirsh Show across all social medias. But yeah, anything else you want to say before we go? I can't. Hey, he's Kyle Hirshon. I'm Nick Morgasen. Tom Albano will hopefully be back next week. I'm going to try to stop last week. We'll see you next week for 175.
175. Woo!